Welcome back, and we've got a interesting interview coming up for you with Kelly Shackelford from First Liberty. Now, many of you know the name. He's in the news an awful lot. Kelly Shackelford and First Liberty representing so many people in this country, and is on the front lines of protecting the religious liberties of so many people. First Liberty is an organization that is made up of some of the best lawyers in the country, lawyers that have argued cases in front of the Supreme Court numerous times. And they use these skills for free of charge to represent, remember the people that lost their business because they refused to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding. And they were shut down. And First Liberty has come alongside them and represented that case. And so many others. You'll recognize during the interview some of the cases that Kelly has talked about. But it's an incredible organization at the front lines of something very near and dear to our hearts, very important to the country. And I hope that you will watch firstliberty.org. Firstliberty.org is the website. They're a nonprofit organization that was formed over 20 years ago. Kelly Shackelford founded the organization. He is president, CEO of the organization. And this is an organization that has been able to do this solely because of the support from people like you and I that have come alongside them and said, look, we need to support this organization. We need them maybe someday if I'm ever in trouble, or to fight against the public school system or whatever it is. And you're going to hear some neat stuff coming from Kelly. It is firstliberty.org. We were at Value Voter Summit, and we grabbed Kelly. He was kind enough to sit down with us at, we happened to be recording this at the booth at Timothy Fund's booth there at Value Voter Summit. So you'll hear a lot of background noise. We apologize for that. A lot of people walking around, which was great at the Value Voter Summit. So firstliberty.org, you can check them out. So here we are, Kelly Shackelford with our interview at Value Voters Summit. Well, welcome back. We are still here and recording some things that I know are going to be edifying to you here from Value Voters Summit. Great conference this year, better than most in my opinion, being so close to such a critical election as we have right now. And I know we have talked about this over and over again. We've got Kelly Shackelford with us. Kelly is president, CEO of Liberty Institute, First Liberty Institute, and the largest in the country protecting our religious freedoms, representing countless individuals and people. Some of the stories are incredible, the testimonies of what you guys have done. But the sad part about it is, Kelly, that you're so busy.
Yeah, it's sort of good news, bad news, right? The good news, the bad news is that we're having to fight so many of these. Good news is we're winning. The country is built on religious freedom. We've got the best lawyers in the country, all from the best law firms in the country donating their time. And we put these incredible teams together, and we're winning. We win, but we're just having to fight so much now because the attacks on religious freedom are so much more fierce than they used to be.
So give us an example of what, out of all the different, I know this is hard, a lot of attacks coming from all sides. What are some of the things that you guys are dealing with most of the time?
Well, one of the things people are shocked by a lot is all the cases we're having to do on attacks on religious freedom in the military, because people tend to think of the military as being a place of honor, integrity, and values. And so when they see things like chaplains being attacked for being good chaplains and, answering biblical questions with biblical answers, and we've had some major chaplains cases. When they see the case we just had at the highest military court in the country, where the Marine who actually was court-martialed because she would not remove a scripture verse from her personal work area. I think it shocks people. They can't believe this kind of stuff. There's really an attempt to change the culture of the military. And the culture of the military, I mean, one of the briefs filed in our case was by generals who were retired. And they said, look, the main reason why most people are in the military is because of their faith. And it's the main thing they rely upon. And yet there are people that are trying to push that out. And it would be disastrous to our military. So that's one area. The attacks on churches and religious organizations that we're having to defend, religious liberty in the schools, in the workplace. You know, I know with you especially, that's just exploding right now, where business owners are being told that they can't run their business according to their faith. And of course, that's crucial for people. That's the reason they're successful in a lot of ways, is because they're doing it based upon who they are and what they believe. And yet we're having, people being attacked, and everybody's heard of Hobby Lobby and those kind of cases.
Sure.
But there are all kinds of these cases breaking out where we're having to defend both Christian employers and Christian employees to simply, follow the law, which we've had in this country for years, which is we do have religious freedom, both for employers and employees in this country.
So much of it is our leadership in the country. We know that, and it does trickle down. I think about the military. I'm a former military guy. I'm a Vietnam guy, and when I think it pains me when I see and hear these stories. It is just I can't imagine a military fighting force without the freedom to worship God. Especially in those very difficult times that many have been through, as bullets flying by our heads, and our only hope is to draw upon the Lord in an open freedom, an open way. And the idea that there's a leadership in the military that is trying to put an end to that, to me, is amazing. Do you believe that in the last 5 years it has increased, last 10 years? I mean, have you seen a great, a bigger impact and more
I'd say the last
attacks?
15 years or so there's been attacks. There were groups that were formed, and their sole purpose is to push sort of religion out of the military, any sort of religious expression. They have the goals to do that, and they were running sort of unimpeded for a while. And about 5 or 6 years ago, we realized what was going on and said, somebody has to do something about this. So we opened a whole division of what we do just for the military. And we have a former JAG, a military lawyer who taught at the Naval Academy, leading that. And we've really started to turn things around. There's still a long way to go. There's a lot of hostility. We're having to deal with a lot of cases. And it's really tough. When you're in the military, you're in an authority structure where you really don't, if somebody doesn't get your back, you're done.
Absolutely.
So these are tough cases, but we've won every single one of them so far. And it's just a matter of being willing to stand up, doing the right thing, standing your ground. And the most recent one, it's just hard to even believe. It's the guy who actually was in a private retirement ceremony and was doing the flag folding ceremony, and they literally grabbed him and threw him out of the ceremony, the head of the base and some people underneath him, because
this was a private ceremony.
Private retirement ceremony of a guy who said, hey, I want you to do the script at my flag folding ceremony, and it was going to mention God. And really, all it was God bless our flag, God bless our troops, God bless America. It's been used by the Air Force for years. But this guy didn't like that, and so he was physically grabbed and thrown out of a private. All of it on film. People can go to firstliberty.org and watch it yourself. And when people see it, they go, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, we've come to this state in our military, and so we're having to fight things that you couldn't even believe that you're having to fight. But the good news is we are winning. We're just having to fight them.
Folks, this is a financial issue of our day, not just a. If we're going to battle and push against this darkness, firstliberty.org is a place that you need to visit. You need to visit because you have to understand the attacks that we continue to be under. And you guys operate like I operate, by support of the people that are convicted that we have got to fix this and we got to fight and push against this. And I know many of our listeners across this nation believe that. We have a huge following of vets and just the military issue alone. But we have to do our part, and whether we like to talk about it or not, it's another story. But part of what we have been blessed with in our finances, we have got to use this for, this is, folks, the proclamation of the truth. And it is what supports the proclamation of the gospel. And oftentimes, Kelly, on my program, I talk about our first stewardship responsibility is the stewardship of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And this is a wonderful way to get involved in changing America. Not changing it from something it isn't, but changing it back to what it used to be.
Yes.
And you guys are doing that every day on the front lines of it.
Absolutely. And one of the great things that businessmen especially appreciate, and women, is our model for how we do it, which is rather than us go and hire a bunch of attorneys, what we do is we find the best litigators at the best law firms in the country who are believers, and we let them donate their time on these cases. So we have these unbelievable teams of people you could never pay for. And what that results is, in our cases, on average, for every $10,000 we spend, we get $60,000 donated. And those set precedents that not only protect and win that case, but they protect, our children and our grandchildren. And so people, when they invest in what we're doing, they get multiplication of what their investment should be. It's the future. It's for their kids and their grandkids and the freedoms that they're going to have.
And that's what I love about your organization. It's about my grandchildren, about my children, and future generations. And I always say that I just want to someday see the world they live in and recognize it.
Yes.
And it's so important. And it's firstliberty.org.
Firstliberty.org.
And you can find out so much information about this at firstliberty.org. I would urge you to come alongside this very important work. And Kelly, I appreciate you so much. I know you're running around here crazy, but I appreciate you taking time.
Thank you. It's been great to be with you.
Thank you so much.